Hello, ladies and gentlefolk, and welcome back to another episode of the Zcast. And I said welcome back again. Why do I keep on doing that? I'm joined again for this one by Squee913. Say hi, Squee.
Hi, Squee.
Well done. I'm impressed with you.
Yay!
God. Why is it that
I lied, I'm not ready. You asked if I was ready, and I said yes. I don't know why I said yes. It was a lie. It's a horrible lie.
Why is it that whenever someone does an introduction, it's always the person's job that's doing the co-commentary with them or doing the guesting to fuck it up in some way?
Yeah, well, it's just the way it goes.
So, given that I know virtually nothing about what we're going to be talking about in this one, I'm going to hand over to Squee and shut up for a bit.
You assume I know what we're going to be talking about in this one. I mean, really, all we're going to be covering is some news and some updates, and this Zcast kind of marks the part of the gearing back up for Season 3. I don't have a solid start date for Season 3 yet. I don't even know if we're going to be doing pre-seasons yet. I mean, if everyone really wants to do pre-seasons, I'm sure that there's people that will step up to the task. I generally don't commentate on the pre-season because I like to just be able to finally watch. But if everyone just wants to not have a pre-season, go straight to the regular season, I'm fine with that too. But we don't have a solid date yet, mainly because we don't have our 7-point builds yet, mainly because there's still a couple of teams kind of ironing out the kinks of who their rosters are. Once they get those filled out, we will start picking the 7-point builds. However, there are going to be some restrictions on the 7-point builds. Obviously, who can be a 7-point build or not. Everyone who has more than one healing transformation, Cell and Frieza, staring right at you.
Because what you're talking about. I
think they're the only two characters that have more than one healing transformation. Will not be acceptable for the 7-point because they're strong enough as it is. If you give them 7 points plus all their healing transformations plus Cell's frickin' grab move, yeah, no.
You've just made Frieza walk off into a corner and cry, Squee.
Yeah, well, I am. I really am. I've never gotten over that defeat. That's so close to defeat. So for everyone, for the most part, it doesn't mean much because, one healing transformation is not a big deal. A blast one healing will still allow them to have...
You've just made Coola's headplate grow.
I was going to say, also, anyone with a healing blast one move, we haven't restricted them from having the 7-point build yet, but you definitely, we are making this, if I haven't already, anyone who has a blast one healing move, a Rayleigh, half the booze, Garlic Jr., Yajirobe, pretty much, I mean, we all know who they are, Goten. Anyone who has a blast one healing move cannot do a blast one centric build. In other words, no blast one AIs, no blast one recharge faster, anything like that, because we don't want, as funny as it was, we don't want another Cell versus Yajirobe.
We want to eliminate that possibility as much as possible.
Right.
There might actually guarantee on it not happening again.
There might be one exception on the Yajirobe because Durangel, who's been the lead tester, has been finding out, and we've been conversing, that there is actually a Blast One build with the Yajirobe that for some reason makes him really pretty much only use his other Blast One move. It's weird, but that's a Yajirobe specific thing that for some reason it just makes him do the other one, the one that makes him go full power instead of Senzu Bean. But that's still being tested. But for the most part, guys, just understand that if you have a Blast One healing move, you are not allowed to do a Blast One centric build. Otherwise, we'll have you heal over and over and over. As far as other restrictions for like 7-point build, at this time there aren't any that I know of. However, I do
that you know of.
Yeah,
Your
I
brain's
know.
conspiring against you.
It's possible. I'm trying so hard to think if there was something else we looked at.
We can hear.
And like I said, this still isn't a done deal. If we start doing the 7-point testing and finding out that there are some really overpowered combos, we will scrap the 7-point system. This is a very experimental thing, so don't bank everything on it, especially not right now. And yeah. Just gone.
I was waiting for something spectacular. And yeah.
Yes. And again, I stress that it's going to be random selection because not everyone has a full team that's eligible for it. Obviously, if you have 3 health bars instead of 4, you can't be a 7-point character because you need those extra points to make your health back up to full. So there are a lot of teams that have 2 or even only 1 character they can choose. So everyone else will be randomly selected. And I know that there will be some people complaining that, oh, my worst character was chosen randomly and that's not fair. And again, I stress that I would almost rather have my worst character have 7 points than my best.
Hell yeah. King Cold, 7 point. Oh, yes. I would be so happy with that. It would be awesome.
I know that everyone wants to have that one heavy hitter, but honestly, I'd much rather have 4 people who are decent than...
I've already got 2 heavy hitters, I don't need another one.
So, but in the other way around, you may want your worst character person to get it and your best person to get it. Look, the way I would look at this is, even though it's random select, just think of it as a learning exercise too. It's going to be an advantage no matter who gets it.
Yeah.
It's your job to make the most of it.
Complaining about it doesn't tend to do that for you. So just get to testing.
Not very well. No. So that's about it right now for the 7-point builds. We do have home stadiums decided for the most part. Yeah. Everyone's got their home stadiums. Let me go check real quick with the important info. I think everyone has pretty much found a home stadium. Let me see.
Well, I think the only ones that there were a couple that we didn't have finalized. I had this written down somewhere. Did I have it written down somewhere? Apparently not. I'm sure I wrote it down.
Let's see now. Well, I'm not going to list what everyone's home stadium is because you know what your home stadium is. I'm just going to make sure it's got them or not. You know it's your home. It's your ship.
I have a ship?
Yep.
Awesome! Is it in space?
Yes, it's in space.
Yay! I'm a spaceship. Saiyans. I wanted monkey corpses littered all over it.
I know. But the only teams that still had to choose a stadium was Dirt, Blade, Super Saiyans, and Muscle, and I believe they have all chosen. The Super Saiyans want Supreme Kai's world. The Blades want Broly's planet. Team Derp took Village Penguin Village.
Just randomly mesh up the words.
And yeah,
Penguin Village.
Team Muscle wanted suggested Broly's planet, but considering the fact that the Blades kind of called it first, and I'm not allowing any more. I mean, we already had the struggles. I was kind of like the way I was looking at it is if you haven't chosen by the time the struggled matches, then you're just gonna have to choose what's left over. But they said they wanted either Broly's planet or Muscle Tower, so they're gonna go Muscle Tower, and that just makes perfect sense, doesn't it? Team Muscle Tower. And the way this will work is, unless there's serious scheduling conflicts, which there shouldn't be, is every other week you'll be at home on your home map. Some people have been asking, is it permanent? It is permanent for this season and for as long as the team wants it. In other words, you're stuck with it for this whole season. After the season's over, if you decide you want to go to one of the unused stadiums, or let's say there's 2 teams who agree to change stadiums or whatnot, you can do that. But you can't re-challenge Frieza for his ship. It's his now and forever until he doesn't want it anymore. Because what kind of sense does that make after you've already selected? It's not like the one football team can go to another football team stadium and say, no, we want this one. You know?
That would be awesome.
So they're permanent for as long as the teams want them.
Yay!
Yeah. Yay! And that's it so far for news. And no, problem child tests.
Yeah.
In case there's people who don't know about those. The problem child tests are a test format of testing that we've put together that we hope every team takes a part of. Every team can do one problem child test. As the name suggests, you are to choose one problem child of your team, someone who really needs some testing, someone who is, like, generally speaking, the worst of your team or the one that needs the most work. And you can
send them
submit
off to a crawl master with a massive mustache and lots of test tubes.
pretty much, yeah.
And they get sent back to you broken and weeping.
And then you get
sorry.
You get to set up a test for the testers to do of this format. Basically, hang on, let me go to where I actually say what you can do. You can do it in one of two formats. It's the same character, so it's the same character versus same character. So in other words, it's like Super Saiyan 2 Gohan versus Super Saiyan 2 Gohan.
Yeah. Wait,
and what you do?
Goku against Super Saiyan Goku?
Yeah, you could do that if you want, but the thing is, the reason why I didn't suggest that is because that's actually more variables. It's harder to judge when you're doing two different characters. So I'm trying my hardest to keep it to just one character, and you guys will understand why in a second. Let's stay with Broly versus Broly. No, wait, he's got transformations. Mecha Frieza versus Mecha Frieza.
Yay!
Or King Cold versus King Cold, because that's who you're doing. So it's King Cold versus King Cold. You can set it up like this way: King Cold with one build and one AI versus King Cold with another build and the same AI. So in other words, it's build 1 with first AI versus build 2 with first AI. The idea of this is to see which build works better with this AI. And then, of course, you do 3 tests. You do build 1, build 2 with the first AI, build 1, build 2 with the second AI, build 1, build 2 with the third AI. And it's the best 2 out of 3. The idea of this is to give you a very in-depth look of which build works best with what AI. And basically this is, and there's another format you can choose. Let's say you already have a build. You're pretty sure you know what build you want, but you're really kind of hunting for the AI. Then there's another format you can do. It's the same build for every character. So it's King Cold with only one build, but you test a bunch of AI. It's the first match is first AI versus second AI. The second match is third AI versus fourth AI, and then the third match is the winner from the first 2 matches AIs. So again, this is a chance to take one character from your team that really needs work and propose a test that will give you a lot of information to work with. And we want every team to be able to do this once. So if you have not submitted this, go to the testing request and go to the problem child, and the format's there. It's much easier, as weird as it sounds, it's easier to understand when you look at it than when I try to explain it. And just submit a test in that format, and it is a really good chance to work on that problem child. Those testings will take priority over all other testing until they're done. It doesn't mean that no testing will be done. It just means that if the tester is ready to do a test and there's a problem child test to do, that one will be done first. So that every team has a chance to do this. And I know there's a lot of you out there who have been very inactive. This is the time to start being active. This is the time to start working on your team if you want them to have a competing chance. Yeah. Also, you know what? I'm going to have you talk about this one. We've chosen new divisions.
We have? Ah, shit. Oh, yeah, those ones.
Hang on, let me pull it up for you, and then I'll have you talk, because I've been talking for
It makes absolutely no difference whether you pull it up or not, because I've got to record the Skype window. So I'll have to do this off the top of my head. We have the 4 new divisions, North, East, South, and West. The bottom and top divisions are the bottom-ranked teams and the top-ranked teams in terms of win-loss records for last season. So for North Kai, which is the top-ranked teams, we have Cold, Androids, Saiyans, and is it Muscle we've got? I can never remember whether it's Muscle.
I believe it's
Muscle, because it's the ones that didn't win the Super Bowl.
Hey, I'm going around right now just to be and the YOLO site, I don't use it that much anymore, but I still use it for Dragon Ball Z League because it's just so convenient. Is updated. So North Kai Division, which is the top division, is Androids, Cold, Saiyans, and Team Muscle.
Okay. South Division, which was everybody with the lowest win-loss records last season, is Dragon Ball Heroes, Team Derp, the Blades, and
Namek,
that one. Why is it Namek the one team that I always forget about? I'm sorry, Namek, but it's the one team that sort of slips my mind.
And the other 8 teams have been randomly selected into one of the other 2 divisions.
Okay, we have. God, I'm not going to remember these ones. Rugrats.
I'll hold it off on you. I'll let you know.
I can try and remember if you want.
East Kai Division is the Boos, Earth Defenders, Rugrats, and Super Saiyans. West Kai Division is the Majins, Valkyries, Gohans, and Ginyu Force. Now, tell them how the divisions work.
Okay, all teams in each division compete against each other, and they don't actually fight each other, but they fight all the teams from the other divisions. The top 3 teams in a division go through to the playoffs, with the top team getting a bye week, and the teams 2 and 3 fighting off for the chance to challenge the division to be division champions. The division champions fight to be in the finals, and then the finals are who are crowned season champions. Sounds reasonably awful. My explanation skills aren't very good, ad-lib.
It's all right. And the reasoning for the division the way we did, the reason why we put the top teams in one division and the bottom teams in another division, is because it should give everyone a fairer chance to make it to the playoffs. Because now we have the top teams competing against the top teams. We have the bottom teams competing against the bottom teams. So let's say whatever Dragon Ball Heroes or Derp aren't anywhere near as good as, say, Androids or Team Cold. It doesn't matter. They're not competing against the Androids or Team Cold until they get to the playoffs. They're competing against other teams that were generally on their level during Season 1 or Season 2.
Yeah.
So it gives them a better shot of getting in. Now, once you get to the playoffs, all bets are off.
Basically meaning you're screwed.
But everyone loves an underdog, unless it's not my team.
I don't know. I was quite fond of Team Cold.
Yeah, shut it. So the new divisions are chosen, and you know who you're going to be competing against and not fighting against.
Yes.
And I will try and get the schedule up within the next couple of weeks.
Okay. Are you going to randomize all the games, or are you going to have to do them like a more planned out thing in order to get home and away?
It has to be planned out anyway, because in order to have all the teams play each other team per week and have every.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I literally spent about 8 hours during Season 2 making system notes. Now the good news is now all I have to do is plug in the teams into the numbers and it's fine now.
Yeah.
But I'm going to have to finagle the stadiums to make sure everyone trying gets. Now, and it may be some where you have 2 weeks in a row where you're playing away, or 2 weeks in a row where you're playing at home. But for the most part, you should have 6 at home games and 6 away games.
No, that sounds cool. I'm
curious
to see what kind of advantage that ends up conferring, because for some teams it's going to be a tactical choice. Like, for me, it's kind of a combination. Like, Frieza's ship makes sense, but it's also really, really open for supers. And
unless they get under the ship.
Yeah, but most of the fights take place in space.
Don't know what you're talking about.
Because there's no ground in space. Of course, they just keep on falling away.
I noticed that no one has chosen Mountain Road.
I know.
Because Mountain Road, that darn cliff would destroy everyone's supers.
I was actually thinking about taking that, and then I remembered Supernova hits the fucking hell. Bloody mountain getting in the way of every Supernova forever.
All right. I guess we can just move on to Q&As?
Yeah. I think we can, yeah.
All right, then. Q&A. First one from Gamer Jumpy. For Rebel, you requested a test. How can this be?
Because I finally worked out what to actually put. I'd never had anything against tests. It was just I didn't know what to test or what to do. So I was sort of sitting there going, "Ooh, that's interesting. Shite. Wait, what? I was supposed to do something here."
I'm sitting there wondering, like, is there a reason why he wouldn't post a test?
No, just because I had absolutely no idea what I wanted to test or how I wanted to do it. I was just thinking, I want to test this, but how do I do it? I don't know. And then
I don't understand.
Yeah, I eventually sort of sat down and said, right, what build would I use? This. Put them together. Here we go. Let's put them up and see what happens. Ooh, this is actually interesting. It actually works. Oh my god. So,
all right.
Yeah.
So next we have from Fluid Ducato. Why do you think fights are so random in Tenkaichi 3? Game engine reasons or just character moves AI's potars?
Can I have all of those reasons combined?
Yeah, I know, right? I honestly, I would not be able to answer the question without being able to say yes.
Yeah.
Because
it's all of those things.
The thing is that you could have two matches with the exact same moveset AI and Potars, and it'll go completely differently.
Yeah, and we've seen that happening.
So number 2 from Fluid Ducato. I know the spirit of the league is important, but part of every sports league is the changing around of players from season to season, but some of the teams are very limited in their choice of players, whereas others have a large selection. Example, the Blades are extremely limited. Team Android has many options. Will there possibly be anything put into place to help with this? Unfortunately, no. It's just the name of the game, folks. Since Dragon Ball Z Tenkaichi 3 was not designed to be a sports league,
amazing as that sounds,
there are limitations built into the very foundation, which are not going to be fixable. I know it is a little unfair that there are some teams with very limited choice, like the Blades or the Majins, and there are other teams with a lot of choice. And the simple truth is, them's the breaks. I wish
have to use those choices. It doesn't matter.
Right. I really do wish that there was a way to fix that. But the only way to fix that would be to allow any team to have any player, and that would kill the spirit of the league. It really would. I mean, there would be what's the point of Dragon Ball Z League if you don't have teams with a theme?
There isn't, as far as I can tell. It's just people bashing on each other, which you might as well use like any other fight sim around.
Right. So, unfortunately, that is a problem that will never be fixed. And that's just, and every team, every sports league has its problems. Soccer more than most. Just pointing that out.
Not saying anything.
However, I think that it's a testament to the fans of those teams that they know that they don't have a lot of selections, but they're going to work with the teams what they have. And if you think about it, it's not necessarily a determinant of what you can and can't do. I mean, Team Majin's always gone pretty far in the season. Team Muscle doesn't have many options. They've always gone pretty far. But so it's not. I firmly believe that any team in this league, with the exception of maybe Dragon Ball Heroes, because we simply haven't seen enough of them yet, can win. I really do, if you work at it hard enough. So that's my firm belief.
Some teams are going to struggle more than others against other teams, but
that's and as much as we try and reduce that, it's realistic. Every sports league has its better teams and its worst teams. I know, for example, like in baseball in America, God, you have teams that have 3 or 4 times the payroll other teams do, and it sucks. But what are you going to do?
You can't do anything about it because it's corporations.
You could put a price cap on it. Just saying.
But you realize how unpopular that would be.
Only with the owners.
Yes, given that they're the people that pay everybody all the money.
Yeah, details. So yeah, sadly that is a thing that will probably never be fixed. I mean, I'm always open to suggestions, but really the only suggestion is to allow teams to get people that are not among their theme, and that's not...
Yeah. To be honest, the unbalancing thing isn't necessarily a bad thing if you think about it, because teams, when you go up against the androids, you're not necessarily going to lose.
Right.
You could potentially win. And then when you have the bigger giant teams, say androids versus Saiyans, it's a tense match. It's an interesting game to watch.
Right.
And then it's always entertaining when you watch two of the maybe lesser teams that are of more even strength.
For different reasons.
Yeah.
All right, so next question, Grey Troll. Will the 0-6 rule carry over to Season 3? Yes, if the teams want it. The 0-6 rule is basically, if you go halfway through the season with no wins whatsoever, you're 0-6, you will be able to get, if you choose, a small advantage, maybe an extra life bar on a character, maybe whatever. You will, if chosen, be able to get a small advantage. Simply because if you're 0-6, your team needs help. There's something going on there. Either it's not being coached properly, and I would never suggest that.
Because you just didn't just suggest that just then.
No, I mean, it is a possibility that that's the case. I don't believe that was the case last season. I know Namek was doing everything they could, and I know Dragon Ball Heroes was doing everything they could. They were the 2 0-6 teams. But I'm simply saying that in the future, it could be that is one of the one of the reasons, even though I would never come out and say, hey, I think you're coaching your team bad. But yeah, it will carry over if the team wants it. However, somehow I think that might not be.
I agree.
All right, Blackstar99 says, will the divisions be set up the same way as last season? Already answered that question earlier in this episode, so that's considered thoroughly answered. When the stadium fight's going to be? Last week. Will there be new events for the Tenkaichi Bowl in the next couple of seasons? Possibly. I mean, I think that... what new events? I mean, with the one-on-one MVP and the All-Star matches, I think that we've got pretty much the best events you could think of.
I want to see Goku balancing on a finger on a ball with Vegeta throwing energy balls at him.
Yeah, I don't think Tenkaichi 3's game engine allows for that, honestly.
We'll make it happen, Squee.
Sorry. How could I have forgotten? But yeah, I mean, I'm always open for suggestions. And once the Tenkaichi Bowl grows closer, of course, people will throw out suggestions, and I will always listen. And like the All Stars was a suggestion you guys said, and I said, hey, that's not a bad idea. We could do that. Yeah. So we'll wait and see. But for the time being, I mean, I definitely love. Everyone loves the one-on-one matches.
That is so much fun.
Yamcha. But
I'm going to make Earth Defenders pay for that in the league. Just so you know.
All right. Favorite. Okay, this is from Private Brian 501. Favorite abridged and minor league. Do you agree? Okay, favorite abridged episode. I guess is what he was saying. My favorite abridged episode. How do you choose?
Can I just say the whole lot?
Yeah, I know, right?
I found them all pretty funny.
Yeah, they're all pretty hilarious. It's really hard to choose. Maybe I don't know, because I keep thinking of every episode. Yeah, all of them.
Yeah,
and minor league. Do you agree? Well, everyone should know my stance on that because I was pretty clear. What about you, Rebel?
I like the idea of a minor league. Full stop. It gives everybody something else to look at, and something for the off season, and something for the people to do, when they're not coaching their own teams. My part in it probably won't be particularly massive. We'll talk about it a bit here, and I'll certainly watch them when they come up. But apart from that, it's the main league's the main thing, and the minor league's actually a pretty cool thing to have on the side, to be honest.
And that's exactly the way I feel about it, too. I mean, as long as there's someone who's willing to take on full responsibility for it, and it looks like there might be some. HJK and Durangel are talking about it, and those are two who I would trust it to. I really would trust. I mean, God, they've proven how hardworking they can be with the tests.
Number of tests people are throwing at them.
So that based on that and their commentary, which is always pretty good, I would trust that to those two. And they've gone back and forth talking about throwing something like that together. And I would participate in it in the sense that I would choose a team and I might help put input in how to build it. But I'm not going to coach a team, not going to commentate maybe more than once in a while, because same thing here. The main league has got to be my baby and got to be my first focus. So, All right. Next page. This is from Blackstar 99. How many teams are going to be in the minor league?
That's up to them to decide.
I think that you need at least 8. 12 is probably a better number, but less than 8, you start to... First of all, you need an even number, really. But less than 8,
7.
It starts to get too few. And you'll just see the same teams facing each other over and over and over, and that's no fun. So between 8 and 12, I would say. Being more specific... this is from Gamer Junkie. Being more specific with an earlier question of mine, how do you think the 4 newer teams will do now that they are past the horrible first season of the league? I wish I knew.
Blades, I think, will do a lot better. They've got good coaching behind them. I think Derangel and... I'm sorry, my ability with names is awful, but the rest of the coaching lot, they've got people behind them properly now, so I think they'll do a lot better.
I agree.
The other new team was Rugrats. The Rugrats picked up pretty nicely at the end of last season, and they've got a dedicated team working behind them, so I think they'll do pretty well. And
they got Cell Junior now, which could be an asset, could be not. Because I mean, it's always the dice roll. Because you got a new team member who could be a real heavy hitter, but then again,
you have to test for them.
Exactly, you haven't had an entire season worth of training. And then, of course, you have Team Derp, which Team Derp, they have been working furiously.
I'm actually scared of Team Derp now, because I don't know how many people have actually watched the tournament. I only found out a couple of days ago myself. I watched the whole lot.
Energy Beam!
I know! They're just sitting there going, what the hell is going on?
I just love it that there's someone that both their Blast 2s are Energy Beam. The same damn move. He's like, the Blast 1, or Blast 2 is Energy Beam, and my other Blast 2 is Energy Beam with one hand.
That does slightly less damage, but only slightly.
I'm so sad he's not on the team.
I know. Awesome.
But I have to say, Team Derp has been working furiously the past couple of weeks to put their team together, and I think there will be something more competitive. So I think overall the teams will do better than they did the first season. However, it remains
actually a difficult one to say in terms of some of the less incredible teams out there. That's probably not the best way of putting it, but subtlety's never been a strong point of mine. I think teams that are having lots of new players, for example, Derp, although I think given the fact that Derp's got like Supreme Kai, Android 19, is that the right one? Coming in is going to be incredible.
It looks like they're having 19 come in, and they're right now it's kind of a toss up between either Raditz or maybe Kui or maybe Salza.
Out of all of those, I'm not sure who I'd pick, but that's up for them. Dragon Ball Heroes.
I just love that Raditz goes, I am top warrior. That's not the proper grammar. No, shut up. I'm top warrior.
I'm Big Ape. Big Ape Smash. I can't wait to see him go ape in the actual league. It's going to be awesome. Dragon Ball Heroes, I think, are going to struggle again, partly because they haven't had the testing, and partly because I just don't think their characters, the options they've got, are as good as. I don't know. I still need to finish their playoffs. I really want to take a look at early Goku because it almost looks like they've done like a 180 on early Goku, and it makes me think like, man, he must have had an amazing tryout. I have to go take a look at it, but I do know that when I was running some tests for them, early Goku was phenomenal, which was so weird because in the season 1 he sucked. Yeah, I don't know. To be honest with you, it's difficult. The league in itself is random enough. I don't know whether that's the randomness. Because if you look at in the beginning of the season,
it's Goku. I mean, every team who deals with a Goku that's post puberty.
Yeah.
Like we're all like kindred spirits because it's always like it's so funny because like I dropped in the Super Saiyans thread the other day and they were talking about Goku and I was like, look, I know it's not my thread, but I feel you guys, I really do. we Goku teams, we got to stick together because Goku, oh my God, such potential. It's almost always so wasted.
Oh.
You look at Goku, like our Goku, mid Goku. He's got that frickin' Spirit Bomb. You can do up to 40,000 points of damage. Will he ever use it? No.
No, he won't.
No, he won't. In fact, we're pretty much 100% certain we're going to be starting him off as a Super Saiyan. Why? Because he never frickin' uses his Spirit Bomb. So
Nice.
all right, so Huzzah for Timelines. A question for Squee, if he is there this week. I do
No, I
believe
don't think he is.
I think I saw
I
that.
think I locked him in the bin.
Oh, was that what that was?
Yeah.
Can you give us...
That horrible screeching noise at 6 o'clock this morning was Squee going into the bin.
Can you give us a hint on how you will improve Goku? Problem child testing. That's exactly what we did. That's where we came up with the idea, is we devised a test for Goku that we said Light Earth was really the mastermind behind it, and the whole team kind of like tweaked it and all that, and we said, look, Goku's our problem. We need to do this. We need to test, thoroughly this character so that we can come up. And it was amazingly helpful. It really was. We have a couple kinks we got to work out. Mainly the Blast One decreasing his charge rate when he's already penalized for charge being a problem. Bit of a problem, yeah. But yeah, so problem child testing, which is why I cannot stress enough that it is to your greatest advantage to take us up on that offer. So, question number 2: what is your opinion on the character Hercule? Do you think he could have made could be made into something strong? I mean, do you think he could be made into even godlier than he is now?
Oh God.
I think, okay, realistically, I don't think Hercule will ever be a top tier player, but his Blast 2s are not only spammable but uninterruptible.
Yeah.
Especially his present. Oh my God, if Team Derp could find a way to get him to spam Present Bomb, he would be at the top of the charts when it came to damage.
Don't give them ideas.
That Blast 2 cannot be blocked, cannot be interrupted, cannot be... I mean, you might be able to dodge it, but all these Blast 2s where someone rushes him and someone just does a quick punch to get out of it, or it does that, the charge block where it looks like glass shatters, but it still blocks the move. None of that matters to Present Bomb. It will cut through all of that. It does not matter if you are about to launch a planet killer in his face. He will Present Bomb you. If they could find a way to spam that,
Yeah, it might just be a change of, AIs using B2, like testing Krillin AI or something along those lines. It could just be something as simple as that.
It'd be purely glorious. Also, if he got the 7-point build, I could see him being pretty powerful.
Yeah, I suppose so.
All right, third question from his offer timelines. Who is your least favorite character in Dragon Ball Z GT?
I never watched it. I have no idea.
All right, we'll say who's your least favorite in Abridged.
Yamcha, probably.
Oh, I like Yamcha, but he was better.
Sorry, I like it when someone hits him. That's usually the best point. Yeah.
My least favorite character would be...
It's gonna take a while.
I can't remember her name. Marin, the hussy from she's just filler. She was only in the filler episode. She was Krillin's girlfriend. She was the most annoying thing in the world. Hate her. So yeah.
Squee.
All right. Let's see. That's not a question. That's.
Are you suggesting that something in the Q&A is not a question? Now, come on, Squee.
That's a question from Rebel followed by a statement.
Yes.
I'm not really sure if that counts. But since it's dealing with the above post not being a question, I think we'll let it slide. All right.
I think I deliberately... I actually had something, from what I remember, I had something written. I thought, no, wait. If I ever do this with Squig... Right. Rearrange this. This is going to be a question, and then it's going to have a statement on the end of it. I am not falling into that one again.
All right, we got a couple from Blackstar. One, which is better, Halo or Demon Seal, or are they just the same?
They're the same.
They're the same. They're exactly the same, aren't they?
Yeah, you just put a slanty line on them. Oh no, wait.
No,
doesn't Halo take away? Halo takes away 10. They both take away 10,000 health. Halo halves the cost of B2s?
No. Yeah, both of them do. You know what? I think they're exactly the same. There's something else I was thinking of that actually has a a different effect whether you're good or evil. But no, Demon Seal and Halo, is, unless I am seriously mistaken, are identical.
Because there's one that changes. There's one that gives you better ability to stun or something, isn't there?
Right, but that is another. I think that's Miracle Sparkling or whatever. Like, there's another mirror set of Protars. I believe Halo and Demon Seal are exactly the same. In fact, I could look that up right now because I'm curious. I'm curious to know if I'm smart or not.
Do you want me to give you an immediate answer to that question?
No, that's fine. I'd rather learn for myself.
Okay.
It's so much better to find these things out on your own.
If you say so, Squee. You say so.
Let's see. Custom abilities list. Come on. Custom abilities. Come on.
No, custom abilities, go away. We don't want you.
Alright. What is it? It's 4-point Protars, right?
Yeah.
That's 2-point, 3-point, 4-point. Halo. Yeah, no, they're exactly the same. They're identical.
Okay. Which one's the different one then?
There is it's the style of the strong, which is good, or which is evil. It basically max power mode lasts longer. Your ultimate blast attack power is increased if you're good, and your increase in power to stun if you're evil.
There we go.
That's the one that's a little different.
Right.
So yeah. All right. Question number 2. Being completely unbiased, who do you think will win the Tenkaichi Bowl? Again, I know you guys. I know you guys keep asking this, and we keep having to say it's way too early to tell.
No.
The season hasn't even started yet. I have no idea.
No, I think Team Cold's got it in the bag pretty much.
I said unbiased.
Oh, right. Team Cold. Yeah.
Hate you. And number 3, I don't really get the 7-point player concept. Could you please explain what it is and what it does? One player from each team, and this is, again, very experimental, one player from each team who has 4 life bars, who does not have more than 1 healing transformation, will be chosen at random to receive a full 7-point build. The characters in Dragon Ball Z Tenkaichi 3 have 7 points to customize. The problem is some characters have less health, and they need to use 2 points to get our health even. So we limit everyone to 5 points, because otherwise it wouldn't be fair. Yeah. We are allowing one team member from each team to use the full 7-point build. So in other words, an extra 2 points to bump that guy up to either stardom or at least mediocre.
Yeah. And it's, of course, going to be randomly chosen, so it's at least vaguely fair.
Yep. Randomly chosen by me saying I like this guy.
Which is random enough in and of itself.
So that's it for the questions, and that's pretty much it for the news and the announcements.
I'd say it's also pretty much it for the answers as well.
Yeah. So I'd say that that's pretty much it for the Zcast.
Probably, yeah. You will never see any of us again.
Ever.
Yeah.
Except unless we do another one of these, which is pretty much definitely.
Well, yeah. Shut up.
Pretty.
No.
I'm just saying, pretty much definitely.
Yeah, unless college decides to swallow me whole, which
yeah,
yeah.
Pretty much definitely.
Yeah, pretty much definitely. I don't think most of college could stomach me. Anyway, right.
All right, everyone. Until then, you take care and you work on your team and problem child testing.
Don't do it. It's a bad idea.
Just putting that out there for you.
Yeah. Hope you've enjoyed, folks. We'll see you next time.
Bye.